Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Here, Dr. Men, once again, depending on where you're watching from, bringing out a new challenge from one of the men out there. My today's video, one of us, a man, he brings in his own challenge. His challenge goes like this: when I discipline my children, my wife calls it abuse. What should I do? When I discipline my children, my wife calls it abuse. What should I do? His details. He explained that he has a he has they have children, and as a father, he tries to discipline his own children, just like his own parents disciplined him as he was growing up as a child. But because they live in the Western world, his wife is now seeing things from the perspective of the Western world. When he disciplines his children, the wife tries to be on the side of the children. She's always trying to allow the children to do what they like. She's always trying to make the children to like her. Not discipline them, not telling them. She allows, basically, according to him, she allows the children to do whatever they like. And I have been in this constant battle with her to let her know that you don't allow the children to do whatever they like. You have to discipline the children. You have to teach them how to do those things. And sometimes children, even if you teach them, they don't follow your teachings. You have to apply discipline, to kind of force them to follow discipline, to be disciplined, to follow, listen, and obey instructions. And that does not mean that you don't love your children. You love your children. So, what I do is, according to him, he said that what he does is sometimes after disciplining the children, the child may cry, the child may not like it, but after the time he will still bring the child, console the child, be nice to them, tell them that it's okay. It's just for you to be able to do things right so that you can be the best child you can be. He tries to explain to his children that discipline them is part of bringing up a child, part of raising children. But the wife doesn't want to understand that. She is this type of person that she wants to allow the children to do whatever they like. According to him, he provided an example, an instance where he tells his children that they will not have a smartphone until they become 12 years old, that he will buy them smartphones when they get to 12. When they're 11, they won't have phone. When they're 10, they will not have phone. But the wife will like them to have a phone anytime they want. Some of them, according to him, some of his children will be 9 or 10 and start requesting for phone because they say their fellow children comes to school with phones. But this guy, he said, he was brought up in a disciplined way. He wants the children to get to the level where they can use phone before they will be able to use phone. Even according to him, even at that 12, he will still put parental guidance on their phone. He said that his older ones, he bought them phone at the age of 12. That was when he deems it necessary to buy them phone. And he still put parental guidance, password locks, so that they don't go to bad sites and to adult sites and things. But the wife doesn't like it. She's always on the side of the children. She always makes the children think that she's the one that love them, that I don't love them. But this is bringing, according to him, this has brought a lot of issues between him and his wife. So he's beckoning on us to, tell him what to do so that he can be able to convince the wife to understand that children need to be disciplined. They have to be disciplined so that they can be the best they can. And he always tells his children that his own parents disciplined him, and that he never hated his own parents. He loves his parents even as much as they disciplined him and made him to be the good son that he is today. But his wife always tell him that that is not what your parents did to you that you do to your children. Your own life is different from the life of your children. And you live in the village, when your parents were raising you. The children live abroad in the city and they cannot do what you did. But he still tried to use the training that he obtained from his parents, which made him to actually struggle in life, come from nobody to somebody, to even live abroad and have his children abroad. But the wife doesn't always agree with him. She always disagree with everything he does. She always make it look like, the children should be allowed to do whatever they like, because that is actually what the society where they live also teaches the children to do. For example, the children, when they go back to school, the school will be asking them, does your parents hit you? Anytime they hit you, you call the police on them, you report them on school, they'll be reported, but when they come home and according to him, when the children come home and share what they are being taught in school, he will ask them, if you report your parents, to school or to the government, you will be taken away from your parents. He will now be the one to ask his children, do you want to be taken away from your parents? The children will say no, they don't want them to. Then, according to him, he said he would be teaching his children that discipline is part of raising children. This is part of life of a child. That when you become an adult, then you'll be able to make your own decisions, as per how you want to live your life. But as a minor child, your parents still have to guide you and protect you and also discipline you, which includes loving you. After disciplining you, they can still love you because they are your parents. That they discipline you doesn't mean that they're abusing you or that they don't love you. So basically, he's trying to let his wife know that discipline a child doesn't mean an abuse, doesn't mean that you don't love your child, because that is the way he himself was raised. Even the wife himself was raised that way too, because her own parents disciplined her, from wherever they come from. Both of them were not born in the Western world. They grew up from where they came from before they migrated to the Western world and started living the life of Western world. And according to him, the wife always tell him, when you are in Rome, you behave like Romans. They try to argue these things out. He tells him that it's not everything that the Romans do that you will do, even when you live in Rome. You don't do everything that the Romans do because you were not born in Rome. You grew up in a different environment, and that growth is still living in you. So basically, he explains so many things that everything he does, the wife will be against it. The wife is always competing, like, making the children to like her and making the children to hate him. That he's very harsh on the children, and every effort he makes to explain to the wife that it is part of raising the children and that he loves his children. He doesn't discipline the children, doesn't mean he hates them. It's not that he doesn't love his children, but everything he does, the wife will always be against it. So this is a very big challenge to him and in his family. So he's asking us to please, advise him what he should do. He does not have that habit of allowing the children to do whatever they like to do, because he understood that allowing the children to do whatever they want to do may, in some cases, make the children not to be the good children or be the best they can be, because they can make wrong decisions as minor children. So he's asking us to advise him, tell him what to do. Should he allow the children, as the wife is trying to, force him to allow the children to make their own decisions as minor children? Or should he continue to, provide guidance, protection, and discipline to his children so that they can be the best children they can be? So he wants our advice so that he can be able to apply it to his problems. In this case, I don't, it depends on the individual, but I would like to hear you guys' comments. I do not have any advice to provide him at this point. I would like to go with you guys' advice. What do you advise our friend to do? Should he continue to discipline his children, or should he abide by the wife's ways of allowing the children to do whatever they like to do? So please share your comments, subscribe to my channel, watch my video and other videos, like them. Make sure you share them so that they can get to every man out there, so that they will learn how to best raise their own children, even as they live abroad, and all the rules and the norms of where they live abroad. But still share your opinion on how they can best raise their own children. so that those children can still be the best children they can be. From here, I will be reading your comments, and he will also be reading your comments, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you, and God bless.